Hey ho, Allison Scammell here, and we're talking about your clair senses. So clair senses are those communication tools we use to communicate with non-physical consciousness. So either our intuition, higher self, source, spirit guides, crossed over loved ones. We don't communicate with the divine in the same way I'm communicating with you right now. You're seeing me, you're hearing me. With non-physical consciousness, it is a communication of the senses. And the more you get to know your intuitive senses and how you receive messages from the divine, because we all do it differently, the more intuitive you're going to be and the more clear those messages are going to be that you're receiving from the divine. I'd like to talk about some of the clair senses that we don't talk about a lot, starting with clairalience. Clairalience is your intuitive sense of smell, and it's often not coming from a physical food source or a dumpster or, a good smelling or bad smelling thing. It's coming from a sense. So you're not physically smelling anything, but you're smelling it. And so you know the expression to smell a rat or to smell an opportunity. That's an intuitive sense. Like, I smell a rat here. But if you want to play around with your intuitive sense of smell, you can use objects that actually smell to see if you can get intuitive messages. So I have a cup of coffee and I happen to love how coffee smells. And I wanted to see today what kind of intuitive messages we could get from this here cup of coffee. So I'm going to start with taking some deep breaths, not really smelling. I'm just taking deep breaths to really come into the present moment, quiet my mind. This is the process I go through to receive intuitive messages. I start to sink into my body and I start to place my awareness on my heart space at the center of my chest. And I'm just setting the intention to engage my intuitive clair sense of smell, the clairalience it's called, to receive a message from this here cup of coffee that is in service to you, in service to me in this moment. And because my dominant intuitive language is actually clairaudient, which is hearing messages, I'm going to try really hard not to just call in an intuitive message from my sense of hearing. I'm really going to be using that sense of smell to receive the intuitive message. It's different. It's actually stretching my normal intuitive abilities, which is really good. I call this going to the gym of your intuition to flex your various intuitive languages. And when you do that, it makes your overall intuitive abilities much, much stronger. So let's go ahead and see what message this cup of coffee has. Okay, this is really interesting because I don't typically use this clairsense, and I could sense the message literally coming in my nose. And the message I got was, you're giving people something that they really need to hear, and that's really in service to them. So of course now my question becomes, all right, thank you for that message for me. How does this translate to you, right? And I'm already getting the message that this is the message for you. Do you have something that you're considering about sharing with your audience? You're just having that heart nudge, that nose nudge to share, create some content for your audience. The message from this here coffee cup, which is actually coming from the divine through the coffee and through my nose to you, is whatever you're feeling in your heart right now to share with your audience, but you feel a little bit like, I'm not so sure, like, oh, do I really want to share how to get intuitive messages from a cup of coffee? That's kind of strange. So maybe you're having like, oh, I don't know. So the divine message coming through is it's time to share, you're ready, and your audience needs what you have to share. My buffalo steps for you, which is my word for homework, is to give this a shot with something that you enjoy the smell of. See if you can actually engage the intuitive muscles around your clair sense of smelling to see what messages arrive for you.